I got into being an intuitive teacher because of the way I came in to this world. So as a kid, I was able to see and hear subtle light energy, and I think to help myself understand it, I humanized that ability, and I kept it as a I see you, I hear you, which is normalizing it like meeting a new person or a stranger on the street. And really that's what my ability feels like to me. When I go into a new room, I meet new people, I meet new spirits. And I, as a kid, used them to kind of keep me company. I don't know if we want to go into this, but I was never alone as a kid until about age 6, when my mother had decided, and I love my mother, please don't get me wrong, she is the best, and she was just trying to help me. Really, as an adult, she told me she was trying to normalize me. And she told me that she could see my imaginary friends, that's what they were called when I was little, and that they wanted to stay in Helen, Georgia, where we were vacationing at the time. And she made me say goodbye to them. And I made a choice. I love my mother. I'm going to give her what she's requesting, right? So this is at age 6, I'm deciding to give over my power to an external source, a caregiver, a teacher, someone I respect. And I said goodbye to my team. And oh God, I'm gonna like choke up. I rarely tell this story without choking up. This is ridiculous. Like, I'm 51 years old, about to be 52. And it's still so deep seated into me. So we were standing in the, I'm gonna catch my breath. We were standing in the parking lot, and we had a brown Bonneville car, we called it the boat. And I said goodbye to them. I remember getting in the car and propping, I was so little I could prop my feet up at the back of the seat, looking at my purple glitter jelly shoes. That's really dating me right there. And I was focusing on them, just sobbing and sobbing, because I just said goodbye to the people who raised me. They were with me day and night. They taught me the integrity, the qualities of life, being kind, being loving. They were so supportive. And so my mother every now and then in the front seat would turn around and just go, remember, they're staying in Helen, Georgia. I mean, I can imagine this woman had just had her wits. Like, I would play hide and seek with them, tag. I would talk to them. I would save seats for them in the car and restaurants. I'm sure my mother she just had it. Like, I was different. She didn't want me to be different. So from age 6 to about time it was to take off to college, 18, still a little bit clamped. It was more of having dream states and knowings, but I couldn't really point to it as being a psychic experience. And then when I moved away to college, it all came back, and it was, frankly, it was terrifying. It was not something I was welcoming with big arms. I thought I was crazy, having a breakdown. I called my dad and I said, I think you need to take me to a hospital. I know things that people aren't telling me. I see things other people can't see. I hear voices nobody else are listening to. Like, this is not right. And he goes, hold on. Why don't you talk to your grandmother about that? I was like, excuse me? So he had me call his mother, my Nana, and she was like, I'm so sorry. It was just taboo, but it runs in our family. My great-grandmother was a tarot reader. My grandmother could see spirits. She couldn't hear them. My aunt can see and hear spirits. She goes, it's only natural that you have it too. You're in line, and it was the women in the family. And she begged me to use it to help other people. Why don't you be the one in the family to really understand it? And that was kind of the launch, because what was I going to do at this point? I tell you what, I didn't take that opportunity right away. I actually went into the darker side of things and tried to control and turn it off with the use of you fill in the blank. And it didn't go very well for me. So I pulled myself kind of out of that phase. And whenever I would sober up, the lights would come back on. The spirits would come back in. And granted, guys, they were telling me nothing but love and embracing and helpful. So I had to stay present and real and listen to why were they there? What did they want from me? They really didn't want anything, but it was just a natural way for how I am in my body is to be able to engage with this subtle light energy. So I found a teacher. I started to learn how to turn my ability off so I can go to a grocery store. so I could go to a college class without seeing all these spirits. It's like all the dead people were around. And it was very overwhelming to live that way. And I know some of you are probably thinking, oh my God, that's so great, so cool, I want that. Just be careful what you're asking for. Let's, set some filters here. Let's get really real on what this looks like. And so in that, I started going to learn from other people and reading books. And I found out that teachers were kind of taking a position of, learn this technique, do it this way, and you will master your abilities. Do it like this. And then I found myself performing to other people's standards, and it was nothing to do about me. And it took me a whole long time to figure out what was my language around this. How did I want to show up? And when I found somebody else who had similar, same abilities or coming into this, how was I going to hold space for them to be authentic and not judge them and say, oh, you're not doing it like this. You're not saying this incantation, prayer, intent first. Oh, you don't believe in this? Well, how is that working for you? And recognizing that we approach things in endless amounts of differences. And so then I recognized I want to help people come out of this. I want to help people embrace their abilities, normalize being an intuitive, normalize being highly sensitive, and talk about it in a plain conversational way, but put us all in the room where we operate differently, but we're all working on the same skills.